Al-Aqsa. Watch this space. From Aram Online, Israel police settlers storm Al-Aqsa forcing Muslim worshippers out of compound. Zionist settlers guarded by police broke into the Al-Aqsa mosque compound in occupied Jerusalem on Sunday. Shortly after police raided the holy site and forced Muslim worshippers who were staying there for worship out, reported the Islamic Waqf Authority. The Jordan-run Islamic Waqf Authority in charge of the holy site said scores of Zionist occupiers entered the compound through the Moroccan gate in groups and performed rituals there under the protection of Zionist police officers. Late on Saturday, Zionist police officers forcibly entered the compound and removed hundreds of Muslim worshippers, while also arresting at least 2 worshippers, Palestinian news agency Wafa reported. On Sunday morning, Zionist forces were deployed in the compound and at its gates to secure the occupiers' incursions amid growing restrictions on worshippers entering the mosque. Based on a joint agreement, the compounds administered by Jordan's Waqf, while Zionist Israel controls access to the holy site under the pretense of providing security. Under a long-standing status quo, non-Muslims can visit the site at specific times but are not allowed to pray there. In recent years, a growing number of Jews, most of them Zionist nationalists, have covertly prayed at the compound, a development decried by Palestinians as well as Western governments, which have warned that such moves threaten the fragile arrangement at Jerusalem's holy site. This is the latest episode in an ongoing wave of occupier terrorism targeting the Palestinian communities in the occupied Al-Quds and the West Bank. In middle of Saturday night, Zionist occupiers set a Palestinian-owned house on fire in the town of Sinjil to the north of Ramallah in the central West Bank. Witnesses told Wafa that the house owner Ahmed Mar Awashre, 35, and his family, including children, were fortunately pulled out alive after 4 Zionist occupiers threw incendiary bottles to the house. The same night, extremist Zionist occupiers pelted stones at Palestinian vehicles, causing damage to some of them near the village of Deir Sharaf to the west of Nablus and blocked a junction in the northern Jordan Valley. Zionist occupiers' violence against Palestinians and their property is commonplace in the West Bank and is rarely prosecuted by Zionist authorities. There are 650,000 Zionist occupiers illegally occupying portions of the West Bank in violation of international law and established norms prohibiting the relocation of the occupying powers' civil population to the land of the occupied. In some contexts, or in the same context, 9 members of the Security Council criticized Zionists' occupation activities in Palestinian territories and appealed for a de-escalation of Zionist-Palestinian tensions. The parties urged all sides to refrain from unilateral steps that escalate tensions and refrain from provocative actions and messages at this sensitive time, noting this season's convergence of religious holidays, Ramadan, Passover, and Easter. And from Ikna.ir, Hamas denounced Zionist regime's desecration of Al-Aqsa Mosque. A spokesman for the Palestinian resistance movement Hamas strongly condemned the Zionist forces' raid on Al-Aqsa Mosque in the holy city of Al-Quds. Abdul Latif al-Qanua, in a statement, said the Zionist regime has desecrated the sanctity of Aqsa Mosque and the holy month of Ramadan, Al Jazeera reported. He said attacking the holy site and removing the fasting Palestinians from the mosque is a dangerous escalation and that the occupation regime is responsible for its consequences. Zionist regime forces stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque and removed Palestinians who had barricaded themselves inside on Saturday night. According to reports, at least 2 Palestinians were arrested from the spot on Sunday morning. A video from the scene showed Muslim men and women praying, chanting Allahu Akbar, and shouting at Zionist forces as the officers removed Muslim worshippers from the building and the complex. Palestinians attempting to enter the complex were blocked from entering the gates of the Temple Mount, according to Palestinian reports. Footage from some of the gates showed Palestinians scuffling with Zionist regime forces who blocked the gates. From Roya News, dozens of settlers storm Al-Aqsa Mosque. Dozens of settlers stormed the Blessed Al-Aqsa Mosque in occupied Jerusalem on Sunday. In a statement, the Islamic Al-Khaf and Al-Aqsa Affairs Department in Jerusalem said that the radical occupiers carried out the raids through Magara Bay Gate. The statement added that this was done under heavy protection from the Zionist occupation forces. And from Globe Echo, Palestinian presidency, Israel's trying to drag the region into the square of violence and escalation. Today, Sunday, the Palestinian presidency accused the Zionist government of trying to drag the region into the square of violence and escalation by escalating its war against the Palestinian people, killing, burning, genocide, and incursions into sanctities. In a statement, presidential spokesman Nabil Abu Rudaina held the Zionist government fully responsible for the dangerous escalation against the Palestinian people, their land, and sanctities. Abu Rudaina denounced the burning of a Palestinian house from the town of Sinjil in Ramallah by extremist settlers and the Zionist police storming the Al-Qibla prayer hall in the Blessed Al-Aqsa Mosque and attacking those who are in Itika. He stressed that the regional and international parties that sought to prevent escalation and tension must intervene and bridle the government of extremism in Zionist Israel and pressure it to stop these escalating attacks during the month of Ramadan before the region explodes. According to Palestinian sources, unknown persons believed to be Zionist settlers burned at dawn today an inhabited house in the town of Sinjil north of Ramallah using incendiary materials without causing any injuries. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates held the Zionist government fully and directly responsible for its continued aggression against Al-Aqsa Mosque and its worshippers, and considered its dangerous escalation in the situation on the conflict arena. In a statement, the ministry condemned the continuous provocation incursions into Al-Aqsa Mosque and its courtyards by extremist settlers, and the continuous incitement caused to intensify the mobilization of the intruders. The Zionist police also condemned the forcible eviction of worshippers in Itikaf from Al-Aqsa Mosque last night and the attack on them, and considered this a real crime and an offense against the sanctity of Al-Aqsa Mosque, its courtyards, and the sanctity of the month of Ramadan. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry called for a practical and effective international stance to force the Zionist government to abide by the signed agreements and stop targeting Al-Quds and its sanctities, foremost of which is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, before it's too late. From the Gulf Times, Palestinian Foreign Ministry holds occupation government responsible for continued aggression against Al-Aqsa. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry held the Zionist government fully and directly responsible for its continued aggression against Al-Aqsa Mosque and its worshippers, considering it a dangerous escalation in the situation in the conflict area. In a statement on Sunday, the Palestinian Foreign Ministry condemned the continuous provocative incursions into Al-Aqsa Mosque and its courtyard by extremist settlers, and the continuous incitement caused to intensify the mobilization of the intruders. The ministry also condemned the occupation police's removal and expulsion of worshippers by force and assaulting them, and considered it a real crime and an offense against the security of Al-Aqsa Mosque and its courtyards, as well as the sanctity of the holy month of Ramadan. The Zionist government, which preceded the holy month with a campaign of incitement against the Palestinian people under the pretext of warning of an escalation of violence during the month of Ramadan, reveals once again its plans to use those incitement campaigns to escalate its aggression against the Palestinian people, as well as its raids and targeting of Al-Aqsa Mosque with the aim of perpetuating its temporal division by dividing it spatially, if not completely demolishing it. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry called for a practical and effective international stance to compel the Zionist government to abide by the signed agreements and to stop targeting occupied Al-Quds and its sanctities, foremost of which is Al-Aqsa Mosque, before it's too late. And watch this space. We'll be back with more news.